Okay, Valorant Challengers North America Stage 1 Playoffs is finally here. And you know what that means? It's time for another tier list. Okay, so here's our tier list. We have 1st to 8th, and the teams that have made it to playoffs are NRG Academy, QOR, Shopify Rebellion, Evil Geniuses, Evictix, Sleepers, M80, and SAD Esports. Before I continue the video, I would like to reiterate that all thoughts and opinions are my own, and you don't have to agree with them. Everything that I'm saying is based off of my observations and, the games that I've watched. Feel free to disagree, and huge respect to all of the teams. Now, SAD Esports, obviously, as we all know, for those of you who've been watching, finished 1st seed. They entered playoffs with a flawless 4-0 record, but does that mean they will end in 1st place? Well, watch and find out. Now, I will start from the bottom up, and so we're gonna start with 8th place. Now, in my opinion, there are 3 teams I'm looking at here for the bottom 3, which are Evictix, M80, and NRG. And I know this might be a bit controversial, but hear me out here. As for NRG, I'm sure that's the elephant in the room for most of you. They started off really strong. They had a 3-0 lead. They were 1 game away from playoffs until they lost to SAD Esports. And since then, they lost 3 games in a row and barely made it to playoffs, beating Azure Dragon Gaming in a 2-1 series. Now, I do want to say that despite NRG looking good in the beginning, it was also early days, very early on in the year, and I don't think that the teams had enough time to warm up, because I think currently, at the end of those group stages, a lot of these teams were playing better than they were in their first games, and that's natural. What does this mean for NRG? Unfortunately, as controversial as it might be to some people, I'm gonna have to put them in 8th place. Now, for Evictix and for M80, there's one specific game I'm looking at that both of them played, and that's against YFP, who in my opinion was one of their harder opponents. Now, both these teams beat YFP, but Evictix did it in a 2-1 fashion, whereas M80 beat them 2-0. So, that being the reference game, that will put M80 in 6th place and Evictix at 7th. Now, here's where things start becoming a bit more tricky, but I think for the middle two, which would be the 4th and the 5th, the 2 teams I'm looking at are Evil Geniuses Academy and Shopify Rebellion. Now, looking at these rosters, there are some big name players on these 2 rosters, but I don't think that they'd been performing up to the standard that a lot of us expected them to. They're both coming into the playoffs with a 4-2 record, meaning that there's a bit more to be desired from them. Looking at these names on paper, these should not be bad teams, and this includes M80. But on paper it doesn't always reflect in the server, for whatever reason. Now, obviously, Shopify Rebellion and EG have actually played against each other in the group stages, and Shopify Rebellion beat EJ in a 2-0 fashion, meaning I have no other choice than to put Shopify Rebellion at 4th place and Evil Geniuses at 5th. Now, the top 3. Now, this is what everyone's been waiting for. Here's where things get spicy. Obviously, we have SAD Esports, who finished 1st place, but I want to say that it was during early days that they were able to beat a lot of these teams. Now, credit to them where credit is due. They were the only team who was able to beat NRG, or well, the first team to beat NRG, when they were on their momentum run. They stopped the 4-0 sweep by NRG and gave them their first loss, and they even beat Sleepers, who, again, is here in the top 3. Now, that being said, Sleepers to me is a very momentum-like team. They're kind of reminiscent to how Envy was last year, where they don't necessarily have the greatest playbook or, the best calling, but they've got shooters. They've definitely got shooters. So, I think confidence is a big thing over there, and I think should Sleepers just continue to string up wins on and on, they can definitely win the entire thing. But should they lose a game, I think that would put a stop to their momentum and maybe a little to their confidence. So they're a bit of a wild card to me, so I'm gonna put them in 3rd place. Now, top 1 and top 2. Okay, I'm obviously gonna sound biased, but hear me out, okay? Obviously, Sleepers had beat QOR in our first game. Now, you might be wondering, given the logic and reasoning I've been giving to some of these other teams, how am I putting QOR above Sleepers? We did play against Sleepers with a sub. We didn't have Smoke with us, and shout out to Alexis, she was able to sub in for the team. And yes, we did get rolled in the first map, but in the second map it did get taken to overtime, and we were playing, on minimal practice with comps that we don't usually run. So I do think that, with our main 5, we would be able to beat them, because we're 4 out of 4 so far with our main roster. We've won all of our games since then with all of our main 5 players, so I think we would beat them. Now, you may feel the need to disagree with me, in which case, that's fine. This is my tier list, and what I truly believe, non-biased, I swear to God I'm not even being biased here, but I think that QOR can win the whole thing. I'm gonna put QOR in number 1 and Sad Esports in number 2. But I think that this top 3 is up there, really. But I think the safest bet for first place would be QOR. Not saying to bet your money, we don't condone that here. I just mean the safest pick for my tier list. Now, looking at this tier list, I don't really have any objections. I don't know about you guys, feel free to disagree with me. If you do, drop a comment. You know, judge me, whatever you want. But, you know, come the end of the playoffs, there's only one thing that matters, which is first place. And when I'm right, you can come back to this video. And if I'm wrong, you can also come back to this video. And, you know, good luck to me. But yeah, thank you for watching. Whether or not I'm Mr. Ball Knowledge, we'll find out later. Our first game is on the 16th of February. Make sure to tune in. We will be hosting a watch party on the official QOR channel. I will be co-streaming it on my channel. And come show your support for the boys. But yeah, peace out.